Hey guys, Mackenzie's ArtRat here, ArtRat. So today's video is going to be on how to prevent issues with your rat's respiratory system, mainly respiratory infections. So the first thing you're going to want to make sure is all right for your rats is their bedding. This will greatly affect their respiratory systems because they're always around it and they're peeing and pooping in it. It's constantly there, so you have to make sure it's all right for them. I personally use newspaper bedding, and newspaper bedding is extremely safe for your rats. You just want to make sure it uses soy-based inks, especially if your rats tend to try and eat their bedding. I've heard cases of that, although my rats have never tried to, and I don't think rats commonly do. But yeah, because if they ingest too much of the ink, it can really hurt them. So newspaper bedding is perfectly safe. Nothing dusty, because obviously when they inhale the dust, it's not going to be good for their lungs. You also want to stay away from any types of softwood like pine or cedar. And if you want to hear a more in-depth explanation on bedding, then you can go to both mine and Jenna's videos on this channel about bedding. So you just want to make sure that's safe for your rats. The next thing is you want to make sure they have a suitable cage. Tanks are not suitable. I have a video on this on my channel. I do believe it's just titled Cages. So go check that out, and I will explain why cages aren't safe for rats. Certain cages aren't safe for rats. But right now I'm going to just explain tanks, which is also in that video. Tanks are not alright for rats because when rats pee, their pee contains ammonia, and ammonia doesn't rise, and it only sinks, and so it'll stay at the bottom of the tank and it will not escape. I've heard a lot of people use the excuse, well, there's a ventilation at the top, it has a wire cage topper, it's fine. I clean the cage all the time, I clean it once a week. That is not a good excuse. Ammonia only sinks, so once it gets to the bottom of the tank, it's not going to get out of there until you clean it. But since rats are always peeing, even if you clean their cage and put them right back in there, the ammonia is going to be in there within 10 minutes, pretty much. So, if not less. So, tanks are completely unsuitable for rats and will cause extreme respiratory issues. So stay away from tanks. If you want to be sure that your rats aren't going to get any sort of respiratory issues, then you're going to want to make sure you give them the proper care. A lot of people say, well, you know, they're my rats, I can take care of them how I want, and that's true, but if you don't want to have any issues or have to pay vet bills to make sure your rats are alright, then you might want to take care of them properly. And that's another thing I was about to get onto, vet bills. So it's best to always have a fund saved for your rats to make sure you have the money to take them to the vet. I understand some people don't. I personally am not the richest person in the world. I don't always have spare money, and I get that, but it's, you know, yeah. And that's what I was saying, is you need to try and make sure you have a reliable exotic pet vet, such as like a small pet vet, or just like an exotics one, and not all exotic vets, veterinarians take rats, so it's always good to call ahead, even before you think your rat is sick. Call ahead and make sure they specialize or will that they know proper information about rats, because you don't want to send your rat to a vet who has no knowledge on them whatsoever. So make sure that you have one readily available to you, you have their number, you know that they are reliable. If you are experiencing issues with your rat's respiratory system, make sure to call a vet, get them an appointment, and then once you have prescription and you guys know what you're going to be doing with your rats to help them get better, there are a ton of remedies that also can be added in that help, such as dark chocolate. I personally love dark chocolate, and rats do too, but it's great for their immune systems and their respiratory systems in specific. 85% dark chocolate or higher is best. Give them a little chunk a day to go along with their medication or whatever, even as just a treat if your rats aren't having respiratory issues. It's healthy for them and it's great. Another thing is if you're, which also helps if your rat's choking. If they are having respiratory issues and you have medication, don't do this. Don't do this as a main thing. You always have to go see a vet or consult a vet. These cannot be main medication for them. They still need proper veterinarian care. You can also steam up your bathroom with your shower. Close the door, turn on the hot water, let it steam up a little bit, and sit with your rat in there because it'll help clear out their lungs and their sinuses and all of that. So those are just some really great remedies for helping your rat. As an add-on to veterinarian medication or whatever they've been prescribed, never use it as a main source for them because it will not help. It's just to help a little bit is what I'm trying to say. So overall, just make sure you're giving your rats the right care, giving them the right bedding, the right housing. Make sure you have a veterinarian lined up and readily available to you, so if there's any issues, if you have any questions, you can just call them and make sure. If you hear your rats making any sort of weird breathing noises, you can put their stomachs up to your ear and listen, although sometimes rats don't totally agree with that. My rats are totally fine with it. Some people do not like to be touched in the stomach area, which is fine. Usually, if they are having respiratory issues, the sound is loud enough for you to hear. This can be hiccuping noises. They can be sneezing. Sorry. They can sound raspy. Sneezing doesn't always mean respiratory infection. Rats do sneeze occasionally, but if you see your rat's constantly sneezing every day, more than once a day, I would suggest looking into it, calling your veterinarian. Also, stay away from scented candles, incense, the ones that you plug into the walls, anything that's not pet friendly, because obviously they can upset their respiratory systems. Rats have extremely sensitive respiratory systems, and that just comes with having them. Sorry this video is so long, but it's a very important topic since they are so sensitive. So yeah, just make sure you have everything planned out just in case, because even if you take care of your rats and you're great at it, you're just perfect with taking care of your rats, you know, there's always a chance. Say maybe you got a new hand soap and, you know, you're playing with your rats and your hands smell like whenever your hand soap and you're using it constantly. I don't know. Yeah, it can upset them. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was so long and so rambly, but it's very important. Rats are very high maintenance, and you know, if you aren't up for taking care of them, then you probably shouldn't have them. So I hope you guys all have an amazing day. If you hear your rats making any odd sounds, rats do have the hiccups, but it's kind of different. If you want to know more about the sounds, you can look up videos on it. I know there are some on YouTube, because obviously none of my rats have respiratory issues, so I can't really demonstrate. So if you want to know more about that, you can just look up some videos. Hope you all have an amazing day. Bye. Hey guys, sorry, I just forgot to mention something. So what I forgot to mention is that if you use fleece liners or use fleece in your cage, what you use to clean that or any fabric items in your cage can affect them and their respiratory systems, is what this entire video is about. If you're using a detergent that has a strong smell, or isn't really pet friendly, then it can give them respiratory infections, so you want to watch out for that. If you want to be perfectly safe and make sure nothing in it is going to hurt your rats, you can use, you can hand wash them with like Dawn dish soap detergent. I know that's weird, or you can just use a 50-50 vinegar water mixture. This is always safe for your rats. It won't hurt them at all, even if they ingest it. So yeah, just make sure you're using a safe detergent for your rats, and if you switch detergents and your rats start to like constantly sneeze, I would suggest switching back. Sometimes rats are also allergic to different detergents and soaps, so be careful with that, even if they don't have a strong odor. So just wanted to let you guys know of that, because I didn't want to leave anything out. So yeah, bye again.